If you clicked on this video, you probably want some more friends. And there's a very good reason for that. Over the last few decades, Americans have fewer friends and fewer close friends than ever before. For example, in this paper, Social Isolation in America, Changes in Core Discussion Networks Over 2 Decades, the authors McPherson, Smith-Levin, and Brashears have a couple of startling discoveries. This paper studied confidants, and the authors define that as someone with whom they discuss important matters. And from 1985 to 2004, the mean network size dropped from almost 3 in 1985 to just over 2 in 2004. And 3 times as many people now say there is no one with whom they discuss important matters. That's for close confidants, but between 8 and 12% of Americans say they had no friends at all. This is from the paper The American Friendship Project, a report on the status and health of friendship in America by Pennington, Hall, and Holmstrom. They also discussed closeness with friends. Over 40% felt they were not as close to their friends as they would like. And that's a big problem because having friends has a lot of positive impacts on you. One of the most obvious effects, and something that I personally deal with, comes from this paper, An Exposure-Wide and Mendelian Randomization Approach to Identifying Modifiable Factors for the Prevention of Depression. This is by Choi et al. They studied 106 potential factors of depression, and one of the top 10 factors that helped with depression was confiding in others. So hopefully you're convinced by now that I need more friends, you need more friends, we all need more friends. So how do we get that? I've done some research and I have some advice, but before I explain what it is, I need to tell you about the sales funnel. For several years in my career, I did sales, and we often were showed something like this as part of training. Now, the idea behind the sales funnel is that what you want is to close sales, but you can't control that because in order to close sales, you need to qualify leads, and in order to qualify leads, you need to have leads, and in order to have leads, you need to have prospects. So the idea of the sales funnel is you have to put in stuff here if you want stuff to come out there. So to get closes, you need prospects. The reason I told you about that is because making friends is exactly the same way. I present to you the friendship funnel because as already discussed, we want friends, right? In order to have a friend, you need casual friends. And in order to have casual friends, you need acquaintances. And in order to have acquaintances, you need to meet people. I understand this is devastating news to us who have introverted tendencies. Just like the sales funnel, if we want to get friends out, we need to meet people. Now, how do we do that? Step 1, you have to go where people are. And the great thing about this is it can be whatever interests you. It could be an anime club, a sports team, regular movie nights. You can even find an online space. But the important thing is without meeting people, they can never become your friend because they haven't met you yet. So good news, you've now gone where people are and you've met people. Now, how do you make them an acquaintance? Well, you have to make casual conversation. This is something that I was recently talking to my sister about because she used to work in a coffee shop and she would notice that some people would simply order their coffee, move on with their day, and have no conversation with her, even when she tried to engage them. But on the flip side, there were many people who would engage and would ask about her day. And what she noticed is that primarily, women would have this small talk and men would not. Obviously, that's anecdotal, but we do know that men tend to have fewer friends than women, and I think that's probably a contributing factor. Okay, great. You've gone where people are, and so you've met them, you've made casual conversation, you've got an acquaintance. Now, how do you turn an acquaintance into a casual friend? You have to talk regularly where they are. Now, what I mean by this is you might not necessarily make plans with just them, but let's say it's someone you see at the gym twice a week. Strike up a conversation. Say, hey, how's it going? You need to have those little interactions over time in order to get to know each other better and get more comfortable and eventually move on to becoming full friends. Which brings me to my last point. You got to make plans somewhere else. And you don't have to take this over the top. I'm not saying the first time you ever meet someone, you need to make plans for them to come over for dinner and a movie. But what I am saying is that, in my opinion, a friend is someone who you and they will both go out of your way to spend time with each other. And so if you want that, you need to offer it. No matter how many times you say, hey, how's it going to a classmate? If you don't actually do a study session or get lunch together, you're not really moving towards friendship. So to summarize, you got to go where people are, make casual conversation with those people. Some of them you'll be able to speak regularly with, and some of those you'll be able to make plans with and become friends. Which is of course the goal, because we all need more friends than we currently have. Oh, and there is one more point about keeping friends, because obviously once you got them, you want to keep them. You don't want to have to do this all over again. In the paper, The Dynamics of a Mobile Phone Network by Hidalgo and Sickert, This paper showed that the strongest factor determining persistence of friendship was returning calls to each other. The more times the two friends spoke every 15 days, the more likely they were to stay friends. So if there's a friend you haven't spoken to in a couple of weeks, send them a message or give them a call. It will help you keep that friend. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, bell. Special thanks to Zachary W. Collins for being a super supporter on Patreon. And thanks as well to Hyde, Jordan Beagle, Justin Davey, Yusuf Eneskansu, and Mike Zimmerman for supporting, both on YouTube and on Patreon. If you want to join them on the Wall of Awesome, click below to support the channel. Bye.